All right, I see you sitting there with a big smile on your face.
And here we are. Yes, and here we are again.
I'm hoping that's the effect that little video has on the audience.
That's good. I like it. I like the intro there. That's nice. Nice intro.
Yeah. All right, hey guys, welcome to the podcast. My name is Jeff Kaufman. I'm joined by my colleague over here at Sub2 Empire, Mr. Ken Rossix, and we got a good one for you today. Yeah. I think at least I get a ton of value out of our guest today, and I'll introduce him here in just a moment, but. I think we're going to stick with this theme, right? We want to go back and answer any questions. I think we only have one question from last week.
Yeah. Okay.
So let me jump over there and just find out. It was actually more of a statement. Really wasn't even a question. Somebody had responded to. I guess the marketing team put out one of our shorts, and the short was all about afraid of kind of being fearful of jumping into the world of real estate investing and particularly creative finance. And our favorite follower, Aberrant Art,
yes.
He says yes. He confirms yes. He says it's such chaos right now. He's hesitant to do a fix and flip. So I know I have some thoughts on that. What are your thoughts on that? How do you feel about fix and flips right now?
Well, so as anything, it kind of depends. So I think it's important to separate chaos, general chaos versus real estate market chaos. So the question is there chaos in your real estate market right now? And here, we're here in the St. Louis metro area too. It's not so bad, right? Just from the chaos. Like, I mean, houses under $250,000 are going fast in the right areas, just like they typically do, and all that too. So I think it's important, and he may be referencing, and we all understand just the general chaos out there leading up to this so-called election coming in November, right? And all of that too. So I think it's important to separate that. And the question is, like, if you're fearful or reluctant, and I am too. Actually, just on our weekly coaching calls with students, I was like, I think I'd probably wait until after the election to talk about this commercial property and, this vacant commercial property and see where we are with it. So yes, I'm thinking about it, but specifically for the fix and flip, right? This was specifically for a fix and flip. Man, if the numbers speak, the numbers speak.
Yep.
That's my opinion.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think, and I couldn't agree more with the generalized chaos. But I'm going to stick to real estate, purely real estate in this. We're already seeing at this point hints, and we're actually seeing some movement on interest rates.
Yeah,
and especially seeing it in the commercial space, certainly in residential space. But I think what's going to end up happening is if you think we had a boom a couple years ago, 2022, if you think that was a boom, if we drop 1 percentage point, I think you're going to see real estate prices go absolutely nuts. If we drop 1 point, I think we're going to see a ton of activity, and we're going to have yet another shortage of real estate across the country.
Yep. Feeding frenzy.
Yep, a total feeding frenzy, and people are going to go nuts again. So, to answer from my point, answer that viewer's question, I wouldn't be afraid of a fix and flip right now at all.
Yeah.
If you can get into one right now, depending upon the length that it's going to take to get that that job done. I think you'll be sitting in a pretty good position, to be honest with you, because we've already had, uh, like I said, we've already had movement in interest rates, lowering interest rates. I think we're going to continue on that trajectory, at least for maybe the next year. At the very least, probably longer, if you ask me. But so I wouldn't be afraid of the fix and flip at all. I wouldn't. If you're really petrified of it, uh, maybe do some wholesaling, maybe do some quick flips, maybe some wholetailing. Actually, we've got one coming up that
Yep. What's
uh,
what we're doing later today, right?
yeah, we're meeting later today to go over look at that one and just see what we can do with it. Fortunately for us, this one has we have all options on the table. We got such a good deal on it. So,
Yep.
anyway, that's my opinion on it. Thank you for your opinion, Ken.
Yep.
So that's the only question we had, it actually wasn't a question; it was a statement. So,
And also, too, if I could just real quick give a shout out to, I know we're getting ready to introduce our new guest, Josh, but a shout out last week to our guest from Fund and Grow, Chief Operating Officer Amanda Webster. Great episode. If you didn't catch that, by all means, you should catch up on business funding and Fund and Grow from last week. It's a lot of information in there. We got a great discount. She offered a great discount for people too, if you're interested in that. So
absolutely, she was awesome. I mean, she blew it up. So let's go ahead and introduce our next guest here. Our next guest is Mr. Josh Wielser. I'm not going to. There he is. Okay, sorry about that, Josh.
No, you're good.
Hey, man. Hey, no, I'm not going to give a title to the audience. I'm not going to give the businesses that your various businesses to the audience because you do a lot of things, man. You're kind of out there. I think I know the one love that you have though.
Yeah.
But so why don't we just start off with that? Why don't we start off with you just give us a rundown of who you are and what you do, maybe professionally, personally, whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah, well, and while I was sitting backstage, I heard the question or the statement from the audience and kind of the fear, and it kind of leads right into what I do. So again, my name is Josh Wielser. I run a couple different businesses, and Jeff, I do a lot less than I used to. That as part of my evolution, I realized I was doing too much and kind of scaling down. So for me, I run a couple different avenues. My main and kind of my love is coaching. I do small business coaching with our company with my partner Grant Hickman is called Emerging Executives, and we help small business owners. And I heard that question backstage, and it kind of leads directly into kind of, or not even kind of, but exactly how we help small businesses, because how that presented itself was, hey, I'm afraid of flips. And really for us, what we get down to the core of, it's not how it presents itself in your business that really needs to be cleaned up. What I hear with that normally of like, hey, I'm afraid of going into flips is you're more likely afraid of being able to handle if the flip doesn't go to the ideal process or like it doesn't have the ideal outcome that you're expecting. It's not a fear of something wrong happening with it. It's a fear of us being able to handle it. And then the other thing we help small business owners with is the impact of that on your business. So like the fear of not being able to handle it, what is the cost of that on the back end? Like I'm not moving forward in my business. I'm afraid of doing a flip. Well, you're not going to get the experience of doing a flip. You're not going to get the ability to learn that skill. You grow through skills. And, we all did a deal this past year that, didn't have the outcome we desired. We made money on it, but it wasn't the desired like long-term hold that we were doing because of the things that happened. So small business coaching is one. I'm also an investor. I actually started in real estate, started wholesaling about 7 years ago. Yeah, 7 years ago. I did that for 3 years with a company where I coached, learned coaching, taught other investors how to do wholesaling and different ways to market with a company. And then I shifted into project management with another company. So ran that for about 8 or 9 months. And then I was training their acquisition people as well. And that company actually decided that was right when Corona started happening. We went through that and they decided to pivot to a virtual model, virtual wholesaling, where I was out running their projects. And then they brought me back in house. And for our viewers who know the areas in St. Louis, they were having me do cold calls to properties in like Jennings. And it's like, okay, I get that, but we've already kind of killed these deals because they weren't deals and you're having me rehash them. I said, direct in communication was, you know, if you're just like afraid to have this conversation with me about letting me go or what that ends up looking like, let's have that conversation instead of having me do things that we didn't initially agree on. And the response was, yeah, we just didn't know how to have that conversation, so we're going to go ahead and part ways with you. Right. Yeah.
That's great.
It's one of those. Yeah.
I'm going to remember that. Next time Ken
Right,
pisses me off, I'm going to remember that.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
Yeah.
It's a delicate conversation. That's right.
Without a doubt. And the conversation that I had with myself was like, yeah, I did not expect that to happen. I expected them to be like, okay, yeah, let's go get you another project to manage. And they were like, no, we're just going to part ways with you. So at that point in my life, and as many investors who have overcome adversity and gone through this, you know, I asked myself, gave myself a couple days to lick my wounds, and then really asked myself, like, what do I want to do? And the answers that came in that silence was coaching and real estate, but mostly like become an active coach, because I really loved coaching. I'd been doing it for years in the personal development world. And just, yeah, it really sank to like help other people navigate the problems that I was feeling. If you ever, I don't know if you've ever heard this phrase, but like the difference between a hero and a villain is they feel the same pain, but the hero goes out to help people. The villain goes out to make other people feel that pain. Mm-hmm. And so that's where for me that shift kind of happened, was I'm going to lean into coaching. And so I brought on about 5 or 6 clients, and then I met with my partner Grant, my current partner in the coaching company. And I was actually meeting with him to talk about like, hey, I want you to look at my business model, kind of what I'm doing, see if there's anything that you can see to help, because he was one of the more successful business owners that I knew that I felt I could approach. And again, that's one of those things, like your self-limiting beliefs of like the people out there that have the money, the people out there that are being successful, like they're untouchable or they're unapproachable.
That's It's a funny thing, man. I get it.
Yeah, and it's a complete illusion. The more success I enjoy, embrace, I'm experiencing, the more myself I'm realizing like I want to. My company's name is Pay It Forward. Like I want to pay it back to people. That's my LLC. The actual company is Emerging Executive, but and that's what I'm finding as we get to these higher levels of success. Like all of the stuff that we believed was keeping us from being these people, it's all false. It's all operating in our blind spots to keep us stuck. And so one of the things that I really love doing is helping people like embrace and start leaning into the things they thought were impossible for them, but they really wanted to do. And that brings me to my third thing, the third avenue I am at, which Jeff, you're speaking at, and you participated in the first one. We're doing a investor conference in St. Louis called Gateway to Freedom. And that was a brainchild of one of the Real Estate Investor Association guys that I had been visiting. And I remember it like it was yesterday. I was on his panel. I was a speaker at his event. And I came to the back of the room after our panel was done. And I was sitting on a panel. I was like, I knew I was the least qualified person to be on that panel, because we had people like Christina Aguilera and other people that had done hundreds of deals. And me, I had done like 30, 40 at the time. And I was like, I feel, that feeling of inadequacy came up, but I went to the back, and Rich, in passing, he goes, because it was the most successful RIA event attendance wise he had ever had. He goes, you know what? I want to put on I really wish I could put on a bigger event, like an actual conference. And he's just said it in passing, kind of as a, like, oh, that's way off in the distance. It's not going to happen. And then I reached out to him in January of that year after the holiday, and I said, hey, Rich, how serious are you? If you could have the support to make it happen, is that something you really want to go after? And he said yes. And so from there, we just started talking, and then it snowballed into like, we started this, we reached out, we thought the biggest problem we were going to have was like finding speakers that wanted to be on a platform that like was brand new and nobody knew. And that by far was not the problem, or not the biggest thing we had. And so like had a bunch of people to join. We had about 100 people in attendance on the first one. This year we're doing it again in October, and we're at 30 plus speakers. We're ahead of pace where we were last year. And this year last year we did all of our own marketing. The only person we really brought on board was the event manager who used to manage events for Rich Dad Poor Dad. And she's phenomenal. Had we not had her at the event, it wouldn't have been the event that we had. And so this year we asked her to come on as a partner in the event. So we're doing this one as well. And we found the thing we really learned from last year was we need a concentrated marketing person. And this year we actually, each one of us ended up finding a marketing person that wanted to be a part of this event and make it even bigger. So we had a content creation team come on, we had a marketing coordinator come on, and then we had a company that's doing just revamped our website and getting ready to, do Facebook ads for us. And I'm really finding, again, kind of like we talked about, that old fear of like that old illusion of, people, they're more protected, they don't want to give back, they're not going to participate. And really the more what I'm finding, the bigger and the more out there you are and the more bold you are, the more people want to be a part of that, as well as they want to collaborate with you because you're out there doing things and they want to give
For sure.
back. Yeah, they want to give back to the people that are willing to put themselves out there into that environment. So those are the three avenues that I operate in. And for me, they were kind of all separate about a year and a half ago, or just finding kind of where my place was. And now this year, I've really started consolidating into like specializing in each one. So we got clear on our coaching company. Like, I'm the face of the company. I need to be out there. I need to be in the arena. I need to be out there in public. I need to be showing myself through socials and events, and like really embracing the sales side. And then in the multifamily space with my partner Laura, like we have a division where now like I'm the person that goes out and resources private funds and really builds those relationships. And so those kind of tie. I'm looking for small business owners and I'm looking for people that have money. Turns out they kind of operate in the same realm, right? While she's out there generating leads and she's out doing her thing. And then lastly, this event coordination, or this event, like I do kind of multiple things, but the big one is like working on sponsorships and like the relationships with the speakers, and just kind of holding and being the support of like making sure we're heading in the right direction, which ties right into my coaching abilities. So yeah, what I'm finding, the more focused and the more consolidated you start making your life, the easier it is to navigate, because you don't have to be a different person in different places. You get to just be you, and you start really loving what you're doing. Long answer to a short question, I guess. Sorry.
Yeah. I'm seeing the trend here, though. I mean, like really, if we distill this all down, everything that you just described, by the way, 100%, that's 100% me. Like imposter syndrome to the T. Like I just, and it doesn't help that I'm an introvert, but everything you just described really, no matter what you're doing between those three things, the one thing, if you distill it down, is you are doing the things that, as they say, everything you want is on the other side of discomfort. So it sounds like you are out there just taking steps that you're uncomfortable with, and you really are really kind of just demonstrating. You're demonstrating that is actually how these people that you're talking to have grown so large, and you are definitely correct. Those people wouldn't be that large if they didn't go through the same feelings and the same the same obstacle, or have the same obstacles that you're talking about right now. So awesome, man. Well, congratulations on all of it. That's really great.
For sure.
Appreciate it.
And just so you know, so I'm going to take the next question, Josh, and we're going to go down a little different avenue. So first of all, I just want to say that this guy here, Josh, I have a lot of respect for. Not only does he juggle all these, like he takes after. I see a lot of what I do in what you do, Josh, because I juggle various things too. Like you probably don't even know this, right? Like you referenced, we did a commercial deal together earlier this year, and all of that. So that's real estate, but I also do human resources consulting. In my previous life, before I retired from the 9-to-5 job, I did a lot of human resources. And so I still run a consulting company along those lines. Like my passion is kind of health and wellness stuff and traveling and all that stuff. So I do a little of that on the side as well too. So I've got all these different buckets. So what you just said there about, hey, can you get yourself simplified and connect all those different things? Brother, that is just like, I needed to hear that today, right? So that's like my story. So I appreciate that. But I'm curious about the putting yourself out there. So as Jeff knows, like I hate to put myself out there, just like you. Like I think you're kind of reluctant. Like I hate, first of all, I hate all the social media stuff, and hate is the correct word because it does no good to the general social fabric of the world. Okay. So I'm just
It's
going to
so
say that.
true.
I said it out loud, right? Skynet
Under
will get us later,
understand
Josh.
the
Don't worry
position.
about that. But
Yeah.
I'm just saying, so I hate doing that crap, but I know that, people actually use it and see it and all that stuff too. But I'm
Yep.
curious about, so for business purposes, you're going to have to use those platforms and that social media stuff. But from a
Yep.
personal perspective, right? From a
Yeah.
personal journey, like posting myself out there when I'm on the beach or on vacation, or you're specifically about your health and wellness journey. That's what I want to ask you about next. Because this guy
Okay.
here, Josh, has had an incredible physical transformation over the last few months. And so I want to talk to you about that. What made you decide? Because you got a lot going on with the businesses, and that
Yeah.
probably, because of all that time and energy, you were probably neglecting, fitness, exercise, all those sorts of things. So
Yeah.
what made you decide to turn that around and do that physical transformation? And how has that changed what you actually do in your business?
Great question. Multiple layers too. I love it. Gives me an opportunity to talk, which I love doing. Right. Um, so uh, this journey for me has been happening for. I mean, I just turned 42 this year, and I would say it's been happening for probably 36 years of that life. Um, I used to, at my heaviest, I was 335. That was about a decade ago. And the thing that got me to go from that place to where I was beforehand, I was gravitating around 265, 270 to 280. Um, I realized like I was just in pain every day. So that was one that got me motivated there. Then I got to that place where it was like 280 and I could operate and I was functional. But after, and this is what happens in human nature, we get a level or we have a feeling of success and we get exposed. Jeff kind of talked about it with imposter syndrome of, oh my God, I feel successful. Now I have to maintain that or people are going to expect that from me. And I use my weight to hide. I don't know if a lot of people might understand that. I just ran across a TikTok that talked about it. Why are people heavier? It's they're waiting to be the people they want to be. And my partner Grant and I, we were having a conversation back in March, probably, and I kind of saw the writing on the wall where I knew I was hiding out, I was not going out there, and we just had a real frank conversation. And for us, with our clients as well as just for humanity, I would say the more honest we can be and the more upfront with really what we're facing and that impact. So for me, the conversation was like we just said, hey, if your weight is really an issue and like getting out there and being the person and like you feel it's impacting our business, then what do we need to do to change that for you? What needs to happen? And I just had to get real clear. The first thing for me that really changed it was I got honest about. Oh, Jeff, what's up, man? Saw the message. What I got real honest about, and this is what is needed, I think, for a lot of people for their transformation, is I was honest about I was more interested in talking about my health journey and that I'm working on it and like I'm struggling with it than I was actually committed to doing it. And once I had that honesty, like the energy I was spending on the thoughts shifted and I got real clear and real had an actual experience with where I was at on my health journey. And then it took about 2.5 weeks of being with that and like honoring that experience and not trying to like mentally dissociate from it or change it to where I was like, this just isn't working for me anymore. What needs to happen? And for me in the past, I've gone through these cycles of working out, and same thing with business. Like I'm starting to equate everything. Like how we do anything is how we do everything. And for me, the health journey, one of the things that came up was I used to do these cycles where I'd go in these 20-pound ups and downs, and would feel great, and I'd be on it, and I talked to everybody about it, and then people would start noticing I'm losing weight, and they would make mention, and then that thing came up again of like, ooh, they're seeing me, they're going to expect this from me. I don't know if I want to really be beholden to that where I'm going to have to continue this. And so then I'd gain weight again. This time was a little different. This was about who do I want to be on the other side of this, not what am I going to get when I get to that weight. Like it used to be, I want to get to 225 so that I could like myself. Now it's how is this journey, like the version of Josh that does this for the rest of his life. And so I did 75 hard. I started at April 1st and I failed twice. The first time I failed was about 17 days in. So 2.5 weeks, I was on it, killing it. And I forgot to take my picture. And I woke up the next morning to that message saying, hey, you failed. And what I asked myself was, and I'm doing this now in my business, I'm doing this with everything is, and I'm seeing it have multiple rewards, is the version of Josh that does like the healthy and he enjoys this process and he really, this is a lifestyle for him. I asked myself that question, what would he do if he failed 75 hard? And clear as day, I heard the voice go, he would just get up and go for his walk. He would start again. Like he wouldn't care about 75 hard. It's just who he is. And at that point I was like, okay, cool. Got up, went for my walk, made it another 5 days, failed again because I fell asleep with my dog on the couch at 7:30 and didn't take my picture again. And then I restarted. So really it was like 95 hard or whatever it ended up being. But that showed me like, and it showed me that if I have the vision of who I want to be and I'm really bought in and committed to that, and for me, commitment isn't just the grade and like having that thing on the other side and like being committed to that vision. It's also being committed to the stuff that's going to come up, that's going to try and block your way because you are manifesting all that. You have that thing that you're going to have to grow through. And so I'm taking that too into this experience now where on the other side of 75 hard and I'm feeling great and I'm being noticed not just for my physical transformation, but the thing I know is different this time that I've always missed in the past is people are not just talking about my physical transformation. They're talking about how I'm showing up in my energy, how I'm showing up with my way of being, how I'm showing up with my impact. It's no longer about like what they're seeing in me. It's about what they're feeling and what they're experiencing as well. And for me, that's really what I wanted out of this experience that I've been searching for the whole time. I just didn't realize how to actually put it into play with losing weight. So I hope that makes sense. And then in regards to transitioning this over to business, and you, Jeff, I think you mentioned the word earlier, like that discomfort. For me, what I really got clear on is we are able to handle so much discomfort in our life until it shifts into pain. And then that's normally when we start moving. And for me, what I'm finding so much easier and so much having so much more impact in just not my health journey, but also my business is if I can handle the things that are uncomfortable for me and not push myself through, but there's only going to be 3 options. I can either make it comfortable, I can accept that it's going to be uncomfortable and still do it anyway, or I have to say it's uncomfortable enough, I'm not going to do it, and be honest that I'm not going to be doing it without creating guilt and shame and all that other stuff. So with that, taking that into my business, it's allowed me kind of, as you've seen, put myself out there more because that's uncomfortable. Ask these questions to people about like coaching services that, you know, used to terrify me. And then I'm also seeing with that, now that I'm doing that, like you have realizations. One of the big thing that came up for me this past week was I was so afraid of getting rejected by people. I was attracting people that don't know how to reject people. So we would just get in this dance of an ever-ending process. And I'm sure you
That's
felt
amazing.
it with sellers. Right. We're in this dance of never-ending, just like ego stroking to where nothing ever gets accomplished, but we're all feeling good in the process, right? And that's one of the things I was tolerating and now has gotten so not even uncomfortable, but I'm realizing like I'm no longer interested in having that type of interaction. So now I'm much more forthcoming in my interactions and willing to take that rejection. And people are saying yes and no to these things really much more quickly, which is really what we want to do. We're just trying to shorten time frames is really, for me, all we're really working to experience. So hope that answered your question, Ken.
It does. Sorry, I got another one personal. So just from a personal perspective, I just want to say that watching you, because you did put yourself out there on Facebook and watching your physical journey, because that's something that I never did. Like many people watching probably don't know that I've been 100 pounds heavier than I sit here today.
No. Yeah, you said
and
that.
I don't put that out there. I don't really talk about that. I do kind of have this health and wellness thing that I've done in the past that actually you've inspired me. So I'm just going to say that you've inspired me. I'm going to like kick that up a notch over there and be willing maybe to show the photos and all that too. Cause I've not really ever been interested in doing that before, but I'm going to.
Yeah.
You're my inspiration for that, Josh. So just so you know.
Well, I greatly appreciate that, Ken. And you're not. And here's the thing: I wasn't anticipating it. Like I've made those posts, and I posted one with my shirt off, and the problems I've struggled with through my business because I wasn't in integrity with it, and I wasn't a product of my product. And I'm amazed at. I've had multiple people. I even had one last night at the networking event. A guy came up to me and he's like, "Hey, man," and you don't know this because they don't comment or they don't see it, but they're in the background. He came up and he's like, "Hey, I really want to let you know, like the post you made about like the struggles you had and like your body and how that impacted your business." He's like, "I really appreciated that. It's actually it really helped me because not everybody is out there about that authentic version." So I appreciate that greatly, Ken, and do it so you can inspire the next person, without a doubt.
Right.
I'm gonna
paid for.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
I'm gonna.
Paid for it. Yeah.
I had just you guys listening to you guys banter back and forth. Just reminds me, well, my wife's a big. She's a yoga therapist. She's big into yoga, big, and she has this. She has this saying. She always says, when you are mentally going through this struggle, when you're like we were talking about imposter syndrome earlier, when you are mentally going through this struggle, that is your cue. When you recognize that is your cue, and this is what she says, to get out of your head and into your body. And that is a cyclical, it just feeds this. I mean, I have a little bit different approach than you do, Josh. And certainly Ken's talking about, he's going to start posting. Ken, I don't want to see your shirtless on Facebook, man. I just
no. Well,
it's
more about what I went through in the past than what I'm here today. But yeah.
But my approach to it has been this time around, and this is what feels different for me. Like, and that is, I try not to. Well, just a little bit. I'll tell you why I'm going to explain it this way. I smoked for 25 years. I smoked cigarettes for 25 years. And in 2011, I had just decided in my mind that I'd had enough of it. I mean, it was, I thought I was waking up with a hangover. It wasn't. It was from cigarettes. Yeah. So in 2011, I just set them down. I don't remember what that date was. I remember it was in the summer, and I remember the year. I don't remember what that date was. I decided I'm not going to put any more energy into this thing that I've got going on, and so I haven't touched a cigarette since 2011. I'm doing the same thing with fitness. I literally, and I did this very intentionally. I went out and I'm doing CrossFit right now. So I went out and I didn't want to have to put all of this energy into trying to think about looking better or anything. I just wanted to be fit. So I just hired someone I hired a coach to literally take all of that planning and all of that those negative feelings, those negative emotions out of my brain, and I put it on their shoulders. And I literally just told them when I show up here, I want to be led. That's it. Yeah. I don't want any arguments. I just want to be led. And so I think it's interesting how the different approaches that we take. Like me, I just don't want to put any energy around it. I just want to go and do it. And next thing you know, I'm like, dude, I'm feeling like $1 million. Like I have boundless energy. Yeah. But yeah, it's a great feeling. I do think for anybody that watches this, I think that we've all heard that your physical wellness and your physical your physical abilities and how good you feel all comes from movement. But yet we all I know I sat in this desk right here for like 4 years, and just sitting here and I'm not really accomplishing anything. It isn't until you actually start moving your body and get out there and start getting fit, start being healthy, that I feel like that's where a lot of business owners just fail. Like that's where their business is failing, just because of their physical health. But man. Well, so congrats to you, man. That's an awesome story.
How much weight have you lost? Where are you now, Josh? Just curiously.
I am. I'm at 2 this morning. As of this morning, I was at 248, so I've lost right at about 40 pounds since April
Nice.
1st,
Yeah,
and
congrats.
I'm 3 pounds away from where I was playing football in high school, and for me as well, like just hitting hitting that is like amazing, and you know, I'm in the experience right now where Jeff, you talked about it greatly. Like I'm doing more in my business every day, like from bringing on and doing 75 hard, and now on the other side, I'm doing more in my business every day than I was even getting close to, and
Mhm.
having more energy. I am working or waking up um, again, and this is the thing I wasn't anticipating. I used to wake up with severe anxiety every morning, and I don't share this with a lot of people, but I would wake up every morning with severe anxiety to the point where like I would dry heave when I take showers, and like just like it would take me so much energy just to get into the day, where now and it took some effort initially with that 75 hard. I realized how beneficial getting up and moving my body changes my brain chemistry. And so like now I'm at the point where like this morning I woke up at 4 o'clock, my dog woke me up, and I sat in bed for like 40 minutes, tried to go back to sleep, and it didn't happen. So I was at the gym at 5 and like had a great workout, and then other things. And that was the thing for me that I'm really understanding, like when I get a workout in the morning, like the rest of the day I've already gotten a victory. Like
Yeah.
start the day off with the victory, and you're just gonna keep rolling that momentum into everything, and it's working, and I love it. So
I don't get how people can work out in the evenings. It's just like those are.
yeah,
I'm the same as you, but
yeah,
hey, whatever time of day you got to get it done, you go get it done.
correct. Yeah, yeah. Everybody's different. You got to find your path. Your path.
You never know what you're gonna talk about here on the Creative Real Estate Investing Mastery
Well,
podcast.
we're going to
Right.
pull it back to real estate in a second. But this is so important, I think, too, because what you guys just talked about there, you're fit. You can change your mindset, your brain chemistry, what you have in there, by going and hitting that workout.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
many people like don't put those, like 2 and 2 doesn't equal 4. Like they don't equate those things. And then you get the self-confidence that you were talking about now,
Yeah.
Josh, the self-confidence to, well, I can do this. I did that. I know I can do this. And now it's business related.
Yeah.
Right.
Now,
Well,
your business increases and all that stuff too. It just,
yeah.
when the stone starts going downhill, right? It just keeps, when the snowball, right? It just keeps getting bigger and bigger as it goes downhill if you just go down that path. But many people, like you said, it's damn hard to go down the path sometimes.
Yeah, well, and this I can tie directly into business. They actually have shown now that the parts of your brain that control that work with self-esteem and self-discipline, they're not independent. They're actually linked. So if
Yep.
you're working on your own self-vision and who you see yourself as, and work on your self-esteem through like mental practices and self-care and building yourself up, you're going to be able to have more self-discipline. And when you do those things that you maybe feel difficult, or like Jeff, you talked about, might be uncomfortable, but there's a payoff on the other side, and you get yourself to do it, it raises your self-esteem as well. So the thing is to figure out how to maintain one of those moving up at any given time. And it's just going to keep, like you said, snowballing and momentum, and it's just going to change your life. So
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Couldn't agree
Yep.
more. But
Yep.
let's do realist back into a little bit of real estate
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, please.
So I kind of want to. Maybe this is a decent segue. I kind of want to understand who at Emerging Executives. What is your clientele look like? Who are your clients? Who is right for Emerging Executives?
It's a great question. So for us, emerging executive, we started in the real estate space. Grant and I were both in the real estate industry. We actually pivoted. We found our principles, and we have an executive flow, which builds out a year vision. Our our best clients are small business owners, anywhere from like, and we've got different services on the lower end, anywhere from like 1,000 to 25 grand. We've got a high end package as well. Anywhere from like 50 grand in revenue all the way up to, we've had clients that are making $1 million plus. For us, however, the best clientele that we're seeing are the people that have a sticking point in their business that they just can't seem to move through. We are really good at finding your blind spots and helping you see, and not in a way of like, hey, the not the David Goggins where we're going to beat the hell out of you for it, but we're going to help you see like how that blind spot is not just unknowingly impacting you, it's impacting your business, it's most likely impacting your health, as we've seen. It's also probably impacting your family. How we do anything is how we do everything. And because we don't want to address it, we're fine with that being uncomfortable. We're not going to lean into it to feel painful enough to move it, and we're not going to take intentional action to move it out of the feeling of uncomfortableness. We help you get real clear on that so that you can clean that up. And then when you clean that up, the analogy I use is the people that want to let go of those old stories, it's like a hot air balloon. Most people think I've got to do more in my business. So this is a perfect example in real estate. When I talk to people about, hey, what are you going to do in your business to generate more leads? What do they normally say? Oh, I'm going to go do more cold calling. I'm going to go do direct mail marketing. I'm going to go do all these things. It's all tactical. And really, it doesn't matter the tactic, it doesn't matter the strategy. If you're not aligned because you have something blocking you that you don't know about, the results are going to be the same, whatever avenue you pick. And so for us, we use the hot air balloon analogy. Going and doing more activity is just pulling on that cord to try and make the hot air balloon rise, right? The thing that makes the hot air balloons rise the quickest is cutting the sandbags off of the side. And that's what most entrepreneurs and just humans in general, we don't understand that practice. We associate more activity with more revenue and more success and more enjoyment and more fulfillment. And for us, it is not the case. So the best clients we have, especially entrepreneurs, are the ones that have felt like they started building a business, they've got some success, and then they also feel like, hey, I see the writing on the wall. This feels just like having a job versus an enjoyable experience in my business. So those are like the guys that move the quickest through our stuff. And then we also have different services for just people that are like, hey, I just need some spot help. I have this one problem that is kind of nagging. Like I can't get myself to do cold calls. I can't follow up with people. Like anything that they say I can't, they probably have a subconscious limiting belief that's in their blind spot, and we're really good at helping them clear that out.
So,
Awesome.
so just to put you on the spot to follow up on that, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit too, specifically for the small business owner who's the real estate investor.
Yeah.
Like, what can you do for them? And maybe it might be easier if I ask it this way. What do you notice from your real estate investing clients, your small business owners, real estate investing clients, is the most is like their largest sticking point? Like you see, you know, based on your experience. So however you want to answer that question, I throw a lot of stuff at you, Josh, and I'm glad like you're not even writing it down. So I'm glad that you're keeping up with all that too. But
Yeah.
specifically in the real estate investing business world, like how can you help them, and what do you notice as the biggest sticking points?
So the biggest sticking point and the biggest thing that we see that's a result of these blind spots is like I call it destination addiction. It's the sticking point of thinking something externally is going to solve your problem. Um, Perfect example is when you hear people say like, "Man, if I can just make it through this season, everything will be easier. If I just get this hire on, I'll have a chance to breathe. If I just." Oh, and the one I love now that I'm hearing more often, and so like I've got to clear up things on my side as to why I'm attracting this conversation is like, oh, I've got so much on my plate. When I'm less busy, we'll work together, or I'll do this. And then I talk to them 3 weeks later, and they've taken on 4 new projects. So their conversation, and this is a piece that I'm becoming very clear with, and I kind of talked about with that rejection piece. Is we are saying one thing, but we're meaning another, and we're participating in life in a third way. And so it's like, hey, I'm so busy, I don't have time to do this. Oh, but wait, I'm picking up 2 more projects every time I'm wanting to not be busy. And then I'm participating by being upset because I'm so busy, right? And so that it's an incongruency with real estate investors, especially. So new investors versus seasoned investors versus like entrepreneurs that have like kind of broken through that. I'll give you the 3 different levels of what they deal with, and you guys would understand this. The newer investors most always deal with tactical analysis paralysis. They overthink how I'm going to do a rehab. They overthink how I'm estimating my repairs. We overthink because we don't want to make a mistake. And I will challenge most new investors that it's not that you're afraid of making a mistake. It's or like the other one especially is like people are afraid of saying like getting rejected and them saying no. Most times it's not that. It's actually you're afraid of someone saying yes and you not being able to handle it.
Yep.
So I'm tactically creating analysis paralysis to prevent me from actually making the offer that gets accepted so that I won't get exposed and create more harm for myself than I am actually prepared for. The second
Guilty,
one,
Josh. Guilty.
right?
Yeah. Hey,
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I,
you know,
20 years ago, guilty. Like I mean, you
Yeah.
get through that, you figure it out eventually, but or you hire a coach to help you. Like you need
Right.
to fast track that. But
Yep.
yes, guilty. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's the new one, the new investor. The seasoned investor who's done some deals and like they're starting to build stuff and maybe they're looking to hire, they go through strategic analysis paralysis, which is I know how to do the tactical stuff. I'm afraid of making the wrong decision while building my business on which route to go. So it's I've got too much information and I'm overloaded and I don't know what the right path is. That's coming from a place of you don't know how to get yourself to a place where you feel good about being able to handle whichever direction you decide. You're either going to win and have a success aligned with what you feel you want, or you're going to have a pain that is going to teach you a lesson and just show you. A great example is Edison. I just heard earlier today is 2,000 or 10,000 different ways of like making a light bulb before he actually found the way. Those weren't failures. His view was, and that's what got him through, is it's just 10,000 ways of learning how to not do it. And so same thing I'm going through with like my sales approaches and my conversions and like building our coaching company. It's that piece. It's strategic. So find a lane, pick one you can commit to, and take it as far down the path as you can before you understand like whether it has worked the way you intended or not, and pivot at that point. And then the real one for me that I'm now just starting to see, we call potential analysis paralysis, meaning I don't know if I really live into my full potential, if I'm going to be okay, and I'm not going to cause like it's almost my light is going to shine so bright it's going to explode. And that's where we limit ourselves in through like self-limiting beliefs and like not feeling like I'm going to be able to handle my success. Those are the ones that really start hammering people through that whole process. So there's for us it's 3 different layers, and depending where you're at in the journey, they're all going to present themselves different ways. So
that last one, you are 100% right now speaking my language. That is I feel like I've never heard it put like that. So I mean, honestly, that is exactly where I sit today, right now.
Well,
like,
and Jeff,
100%.
we can have a conversation after this because
I'm sure we can. Yeah, I mean, honestly,
that's what we help with, and those are the people I'm looking for, because I know if you have the right support in place and you have the right people in your back, like have your back, and will keep you not just feeling supported, but also feeling like your head's not going to get too big and you're going to damage people with how powerful you are. Ooh, you start leaning into that. Balloons everywhere. Like, no, but
where did that come from? We can do that.
I did not. Yes, I did not do that. So.
Yeah, no, I don't know what I did. Was that the 2-finger one? I don't. Yeah, but that's just it. And again, we as humans, we do that to stay comfortable, and we do that to like prevent ourselves from causing other people harm. But again, if we really are leaning into our light and we have the support system around us, we can shine so bright, we can light the world up. And for me, that's, and I've never said it as well as I just said it with you guys, that's the thing I think we can change the world with, at least in the places we have impact on. So
yeah, I think like by the way, I think listening to you, I think this, if you're just doing real estate, I guess that that's one thing you can work through that. But this changes as your verticals change. It's like or it resets. It totally resets. Like, so for example, in real estate, I feel, I mean, there really isn't much of anything in real estate that I fear. I mean, I know the tactical stuff. I know I'm really, really used to being rejected. Like, all of that has come through time.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
If we back up to 2020, when I first started Sub2 Empire, for example, it just totally reset everything that I had to go through mentally to get this thing off the ground, and to try and make it successful. It was a brand new experience, man. But it really was. And now, we've evolved to where we're at today. And, there's still some questions about, I think maybe for me in the coaching business side, I'm probably sitting at that strategy type, if I'm really being honest, probably sitting at that strategy thing. Which is weird because I'm not really in that third leg at all. Like I guess the experience that I had in the real estate business, it doesn't scare me. Potential doesn't scare me at all. It's trying to figure out trying to figure out that strategy of, we've got the good. We really do have the good. Like we are confident in that. It's like, okay, well, how do we get this message out? What is the strategy for getting this message out? And hence the reason we're doing a podcast right now.
I definitely hear that. Hence the reason I'm on.
Yeah. I'm sorry, you guys split up. Kim, what'd you say? What were you saying?
I'm sorry. Yeah, with that, and I just like shooting the shit with guys on the podcast.
That's true too. This is fun.
It's all good. But I think what you said exactly right. Like the vast majority of our conversations about coaching and Sub2 Empire and all that is all about the strategy, right? It's not. Yeah, and I haven't really thought, but yeah, Josh, you did put it perfectly. Like the potential piece, like those three different pieces in there too. Right? I mean, because we're still just trying to figure out like lead acquisitions and what's and how do you get that and how do we get this word out here, because we know it works. Like the students we have, we know it works. 100% we know it works. So it's just a matter of putting yourself out there, Josh. Like the inspiration to put yourself out there. Or maybe Jeff just put himself. I'm not sure.
Well, and so you touched on a point there, and that's really the unseen cost of that. Like that, what's the right path? The unseen cost is how much, and like literally one of our other clients that I love working with, when he started with us, like his big, and we do our executive solve, which is a 2-hour consult to like really move people out of that analysis paralysis to figure out what's going on. He came in, he was evaluating a software for about a year, and in a half-hour span, we got him clarity on the position to move and what he wanted to do moving forward. And not even like it's the right path. It's just like, what is going to move you to say a decision? Because how much time is actually spent not moving forward by being in our heads and just having that experience of ruminating on what the path is. We're more concerned about making the right decision than just making a decision. And once you get that, then you actually get feedback to take it back to your concept and then re-architect your plan. So that's one of the things, like, and as I'm seeing more and more every day, is like, I don't have as much time as I had yesterday on this planet today, right? So the more time I spend in my head and not moving forward, the life that I want to live and the stuff that I want to experience in life, it gets pushed down the line. And for me, I'm getting much clearer that like tolerating that in my life doesn't work. And the people that I'm starting to work with, like that's how they operate. So.
Right on. Well, man, it is a well-known fact that we kind of script out our questions here, but we got way off of that a long time ago. So no biggie.
Yeah.
So
don't feel bad. It happens quite often in the podcast I'm a part of.
It's okay. I'm more than fine with it. I just love the conversation piece of this. So, but no, we are getting up there in time. So I guess let's talk about first of all, what is up next for Josh? Where are you headed? Do you have I know you've got emerging executives and everything. Are you just growing that business? You trying to grow that business? You're looking for other folks to bring into that program and stuff like that?
Yeah, without a doubt. And so one of the things, as you'll experience is growing businesses, they go through seasons, right? So we've had some people that have graduated from our year-long program, and we got much clearer on like our ideal client, as we kind of talked about. And so we're rebuilding our room. We've got a couple people in there now, but we're looking for 7 in our group. And then we also started a couple new services. We have that 2-hour consult I mentioned to get you very clear on what is impacting your business, like kind of keeping you in that cycle. And then we do that half-day planning session as well that we have as a service. And then we've got back end like long-term servicing depending on what you need. Laura and I were looking to add to our portfolio. So, we sold that mixed use building this year, but we are looking at actively acquiring. And for me, looking for people that are interested in lending private money. They're interested in returns through real estate because it's sexy, but they don't want to be involved in real estate. Talk to me. And then, yeah, the Gateway to Freedom event, like those are the 3 lanes I'm in, and just building those out. Like the emerging executive, we've got our path and our plan, and it's just getting the message out there. We're not rebranding, but we've got a marketing guy coming on. So like I've been out on socials, activity is one thing, but now like bringing the branding together and really starting to drive the message home and look for my people. I made a post today about like my sign is going into its supervillain era, which is all about like no longer people pleasing and like self-sabotage and like going after what you want in life. And so I'm looking for people that want to be on my supervillain team, is how I saying it. And then, yeah, just building those other 2 lanes. So the October event, I'm very interested in like how big it's going to get this year. And then seeing like, we've already got people that are interested in speaking next year and like coming out and participating and like talking to us about new venues. So that is starting to take on a life way bigger than like I know Rich's vision originally was, and especially mine. So yeah, I'm just participating in life and also working to just build these and enjoy it as much as possible.
Awesome, guys! I threw up a link. If you don't even have to be in the St. Louis area, to be honest with you.
No.
In fact, we had some folks come in from. I think I was talking to somebody last year. I can't remember where he was from. It's like Ohio. I think he was from Ohio. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't necessarily apply to just the St. Louis area, but G2 Free, we got 30 people coming in. 30 people, 30 speakers coming into. I mean, that's a jam-packed weekend. I'm actually a little frightened by that because I get long in the tooth. I can get really long on the tooth, and you'll keep me on point.
Oh, we definitely will. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing, like the learning experiences we had from last year, and now we're like taking them into this year, and we've already had a bunch of learning experiences we're going to take for next year. Yeah, g2free.com is the website to go to. And one of the things we learned from last year, like we have a 3-pay option. So if you are interested, whether you're a new investor, a seasoned investor, whether, like we said, you have tactical analysis paralysis, you have strategic analysis paralysis, there are going to be speakers there and just people in the crowd. I was at an event last night and they talked about like he found a guy at a conference where the guy loaned guy did private money, 500 grand, and was the equity partner in like a multi-million-dollar purchase down in Farmington. The guy met him just happenstance at a conference and contacted him later when he found the deal. That's the type of stuff that really can happen at these conferences because people are investing in themselves and they want to be in rooms where other people are investing in themselves. It's a threshold to entry. So yeah, we have the 3-pay option. Ticket prices go up. We have tiered pricing this time, so they're going to go up. Like buy it today, it's going to be the least expensive investment today versus if you buy it later. So take the action. Don't be afraid.
Yeah, I will say on those, Ken and I both have been to just, I mean, I can't even tell you how many of these things I've been to, but honestly, I leave every single one of those conferences. I leave with either knowledge, and if I don't leave with any more knowledge that I already have, I always leave with connections. Always, like it's just a no-brainer thing. I mean, it's a very small investment for a potential long-term connection. It's so true. Josh, how do people? Is there any way that? So that's Gateway to Freedom. All right. So Gateway I put a link in, and I don't have my. I'm supposed to get credit for that. I don't have my. It's not an affiliate thing, but my link to for. Did you guys do that this year?
No, we did it last year.
Okay. All right. Then.
Yep.
All right. Happy to promote it. No problem at all. emerging executives. How do people get a hold of you for that? Can we reach out on your Facebook page? Do you have a website? Like,
Yeah, you can search for me, Josh Wiesler, at on Facebook, Instagram, also Emerging Executive. Now that we've got the marketing guy that's starting to help, you can search for Emerging. You should be able to search for Emerging Executive on Facebook, as well as you should be able here shortly to email me at josh@emergingexec.com. But yeah, you can find either myself or Emerging Executive on Facebook, Instagram, I believe LinkedIn as well. We're getting TikTok started and YouTube, but yeah, we're going to be all over the place here in the near future. So
awesome.
Jeff, could you put the chat back on? I just put into Josh. I think you have a direct link to do a calendar invite. I put it here.
Yeah.
For people too.
Hey, that's it. Yep. Feel free to hop on there. We'll do a discovery call. I'll ask you a couple questions, get you some insight on not just like, hey, this is what I'm struggling with in my business, or this is what I'm hitting. We'll get real clear on what it's actually costing you and the impact, so that you can really get clear on what is actually going to be needed to move you through that problem instead of just continuing to experience it. So, yeah,
I'm gonna put that one up there by itself because I think that's.
Oh, there you go.
Yep. There you go.
Awesome.
And it looks like that's only going out to YouTube, by the way. So we might need to throw that in the
Facebook
group.
We'll put it in the post in the messages too. And we send out reminders of the previous episode in the podcast on Mondays, and we'll put it. We'll make sure we link it in there too.
Awesome. Okay.
Well,
any parting words? Anyone? It's an open forum.
Just like to thank Josh for being our guest today and talking frankly, like, you know, it takes some courage for people to come on here and talk and put them, like we've been saying the whole time, put themselves out there and talk about things personally. So thanks, Josh. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
No, without a doubt. Yeah.
Certainly do appreciate it, man.
Yeah, for sure. And for me, the parting words, I would say, you know, you try to be super poignant and like leave lasting impressions. And just for me, really, it's figure out how or figure out the life that you want to live, and then commit yourself to the good and the bad that it's going to require to get there.
Awesome. I definitely couldn't have said that better. That's awesome.
Excellent.
All right, guys. Josh, appreciate it, man. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Ken, I guess we'll catch up here. We got a property to go look at this afternoon.
Yep. That's right. Sub 2 property, no less, right? Sub 2 Empire.
That's right. Another subject 2 deal. So cool.
All right,
guys. Take care, everyone. We'll see you.